Have you ever looked down at the toilet and seen bubbles or foam in your urine and just brushed it off? What if I told you that little foam could be one of the earliest warning signs that your kidneys are quietly breaking down? Most people believe kidney damage comes from bad habits like smoking, drinking, or ignoring their health. But here's the truth. Even so-called healthy choices done the wrong way can push your kidneys over the edge. Take Robert, a 65-year-old retired firefighter. He walked every day, ate plenty of meat for strength, and stayed hydrated with his water bottle always nearby. He thought he was doing everything right. But a routine test showed protein leaking in his urine. The very habits he trusted were putting stress on his kidneys. And here's the shocking part. According to the National Kidney Foundation, you can lose up to 90% of kidney function before any clear symptoms appear. By the time fatigue, swollen ankles, or restless nights show up, the damage is already advanced. That's why this video matters. Today, I'll share 10 life-saving tips you can start right now to lower protein in your urine and protect your kidneys. These are science-backed, practical steps. No detox gimmicks, no miracle cures. And trust me, tip number 1 will surprise you. Most people never hear it from their doctor, but it could be the difference between silent damage and long-lasting kidney health. I'm Dr. Mattheus from Kidney Health 365. If you care about protecting your kidneys, hit subscribe, give this video a like, and share it with someone you love. Now let's begin with the first step to understanding what protein in your urine really means. Before we dive into the tips, let's clear up one important question. What exactly is proteinuria? Normally, your kidneys act like fine filters. They keep important things like protein in your blood while removing waste and extra fluid. Protein is what builds your muscles, repairs tissues, and keeps your body strong. You need it. But when your kidneys are stressed or damaged, those filters start to leak. Protein slips through and ends up in your urine. That's what doctors call proteinuria. Think of it this way. It's like your body is losing something valuable every time you go to the bathroom. And the more protein leaks out, the more it signals that your kidneys are struggling in silence. At first, you may notice nothing more than a little foam in the toilet. But over time, that foam can mean something much bigger. Kidney disease that creeps forward without obvious symptoms. The good news is, you don't have to wait until it's too late. There are clear, proven steps you can take to slow this process and protect your kidneys. That's why in today's video, I'll walk you through 10 practical habits you can start right away. Each one is simple, science-based, and designed to reduce protein in your urine. And I'll save the most important one for the very end, because it could make the biggest difference in your kidney health. So let's get started with tip number 10. The very first habit is simple, but it can save your life. Monitor your urine. Every single day, take a few moments to look before you flush. Notice the color. Notice the smell. And especially notice the bubbles or foam. A little change here or there may not mean much, but when the foam gets stronger, the color shifts, or the odor seems unusual, that's your body sending an early warning. Protein leaking into your urine, what doctors call proteinuria, often shows up long before you feel sick. And that foam in the toilet can be one of the earliest clues. Think of it like a gentle reminder from your body, asking you to pay attention. Most people never look. They rush, flush, and move on. But your urine is like a daily health report you can read for free. By noticing changes early, you give yourself a chance to act before serious damage sets in. And if you see persistent foam or other unusual changes, don't ignore it. Talk to your doctor right away. Early action can prevent bigger complications down the road. Now let me ask you, when was the last time you actually checked your urine closely? Did you ever notice foam and just dismiss it? Share your answer in the comments below. Your story could help someone else realize they're not alone. So that's tip number 10. Stay alert to what your body is showing you. And since hydration plays a huge role in how your kidneys work, let's move on to tip number 9. Staying hydrated the smart way. The next habit is one you've probably heard before, But it's more important than most people realize. Stay hydrated. Your kidneys filter nearly 50 gallons of blood every single day. That's a huge job. And just like any filter, they need the right amount of fluid to keep working smoothly. When you don't drink enough water, your urine becomes darker and more concentrated. That makes it harder for your kidneys to flush out waste and can even make foam or protein in the urine more noticeable. On the other hand, drinking too much water at once can also put extra strain on weak kidneys. Balance is the key. So what can you do? Start simple. Have a glass of water first thing in the morning. Sip water during your meals. Keep a bottle nearby during the day. Think of it like giving your kidneys a gentle rinse, helping them clear out toxins without overloading them. And here's a tip. Sometimes when you feel hungry, your body is really just thirsty. Staying hydrated can help manage your appetite as well as protect your kidneys. If you want to check how you're doing, just look at your urine color. Pale yellow usually means you're well hydrated. Dark yellow means you may need more fluids. So that's tip number 9. Stay hydrated the smart way. And since what you eat can be just as powerful as what you drink, let's move on to tip number 8. Building a balanced diet to protect your kidneys. The next habit is all about what you put on your plate. Eat a balanced diet. Your kidneys don't just filter waste. They also depend on the nutrients you eat to keep working day after day. A diet filled with fresh fruits, vegetables, and whole grains gives your body the vitamins, minerals, and fiber it needs to support healthy kidneys. Think of your plate as a canvas. The more colors you add, from leafy greens to bright berries to golden grains, the stronger your body's defense system becomes. These natural foods lighten the workload on your kidneys, boost your immune system, and keep your energy steady. But here's the danger. When your meals are packed with processed foods, greasy takeout, or heavy fats, your kidneys have to filter out extra chemicals, salt, and waste. Over time, that constant overload can weaken your kidneys and raise the risk of proteinuria. The good news is, small swaps go a long way. Replace chips with a handful of grapes. Trade soda for water or herbal tea. Choose lean proteins like fish or beans instead of fatty fried meats. These daily choices can quietly protect your kidneys in ways you may not even feel right away. So that's tip number 8. Build your meals around balance and color, not convenience. And since one of the biggest threats hiding in our food is salt, let's move on to tip number 7, reducing sodium before it damages your kidneys. Another habit that makes a huge difference for your kidneys is reducing salt. Most people don't realize how much salt sneaks into their daily meals. Salt is everywhere, in chips, canned soups, frozen dinners, and even bread. And while a little bit is necessary, too much salt raises your blood pressure. High blood pressure is like turning up the pressure in a garden hose. Eventually, that pressure can damage the delicate blood vessels inside your kidneys. The higher your blood pressure, the harder your kidneys have to work. Over time, this strain can make them leak protein into your urine. That's why cutting back on salt is one of the smartest things you can do to protect them. So what can you do? Start by looking at labels. If a food is packed with sodium, leave it on the shelf. Swap salty snacks for fresh fruit. Flavor your meals with herbs, garlic, or lemon instead of reaching for the salt shaker. These small swaps may feel minor, but they can lower your blood pressure and reduce kidney damage in powerful ways. Think of every bite you take as a choice. Are you easing the load on your kidneys or making it heavier? So that's tip number 7. Cut the salt before it cuts into your kidney health. And since processed foods are one of the biggest sources of hidden salt and chemicals, let's move on to tip number 6. Avoiding processed foods that quietly harm your kidneys. The next habit is one that many people struggle with: avoiding processed foods. Processed foods might feel convenient, but convenience often comes at a price. These foods are usually loaded with hidden salt, added sugar, preservatives, and unhealthy fats, and all of that adds extra work for your kidneys. Every bite of packaged snacks, frozen meals, or fast food means more chemicals your kidneys have to filter out. Think of it like this. Imagine your kidneys are a coffee filter. The more junk you pour in, extra salt, sugar, and additives, the quicker that filter gets clogged. Over time, the buildup makes it harder for your kidneys to do their job, and it can lead to protein showing up in your urine. The good news is, your body responds quickly when you give it cleaner fuel. Fresh fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins lighten the load and allow your kidneys to work more efficiently. Even small changes, like cooking at home instead of grabbing fast food, can make a big difference. Now let me ask you, if you had to be honest, what's the one processed food you rely on most during the week? Is it frozen pizza, chips, or maybe deli meat? Share your answer in the comments. Chances are, you're not alone. So that's tip number 6. Steer clear of processed foods whenever you can. And since protein is another part of the diet that can overload your kidneys, let's move on to tip number 5, limiting protein so you don't push your kidneys too hard. The next habit is one that surprises a lot of people. Limit protein overload. Protein is essential. It builds your muscles, repairs tissues, and fuels your body. But too much of a good thing can become harmful, especially for your kidneys. Every time you eat protein, your kidneys have to filter the waste products created during digestion. When you overload on protein day after day, it's like forcing your kidneys to run a marathon without rest. Over time, that constant strain can cause protein to leak into your urine, the very problem we're trying to prevent. It's not about cutting out protein completely. It's about finding the right balance. Pair moderate amounts of protein with plenty of vegetables, fruits, and whole grains. This gives your body what it needs without overwhelming your kidneys. Think of your kidneys like 2 workers on the night shift. Give them a steady, manageable workload and they'll last for years. Pile on too much protein and they'll burn out faster than you realize. So that's tip number 5. Enjoy protein in moderation, not excess. And since exercise plays a powerful role in supporting kidney health, let's move on to tip number 4, staying active to protect your kidneys. The next habit is one you've heard 1,000 times, but when it comes to kidney health, it's more powerful than you think. Exercise regularly. When you move your body, your heart pumps blood more efficiently. That helps keep your blood pressure in a healthy range, and stable blood pressure means less strain on your kidneys. Even simple activities like walking, stretching, or light jogging can make a real difference. Think of exercise as a tune-up for your whole system. Just like a car runs smoother when you take it out for a drive, your body works better when you stay active. And here's the key. You don't need extreme workouts. 30 minutes a day of moderate activity is enough to protect your kidneys, your heart, and your overall health. On top of that, exercise helps control weight and blood sugar, 2 major risk factors for kidney damage. By staying active, you're cutting down multiple threats at once. So that's tip number 4. Regular movement keeps your kidneys stronger than you think. And since blood pressure is one of the biggest hidden dangers for kidney health, let's move on to tip number 3, controlling blood pressure before it causes silent damage. The next habit is absolutely critical for your kidneys. Control your blood pressure. High blood pressure is often called the silent killer, and for good reason. When your pressure is too high, it's like turning a garden hose up full blast. Over time, that force damages the tiny blood vessels in your kidneys, making it harder for them to filter waste the way they should. And here's the scary part. You may not feel any symptoms until the damage is already advanced. The good news is, you have more control than you think. Simple steps like cutting back on salt, staying active, managing stress, and keeping a healthy weight can all lower blood pressure naturally. And if your doctor prescribes medication, take it exactly as directed. Consistency matters. Think of your kidneys as delicate filters. They can handle steady pressure for years, but sudden spikes and constant overload wear them out quickly. Keeping your blood pressure in a safe range is one of the best gifts you can give them. Now I'd love to hear from you. Do you check your blood pressure at home? Or do you only find out when you visit your doctor? Drop your answer in the comments. So that's tip number 3. Protect your kidneys by protecting your blood pressure. And since blood sugar is another hidden threat that quietly damages the kidneys, let's move on to tip number 2. Keeping your blood sugar under control. The next habit is keeping your blood sugar under control. High blood sugar doesn't just affect people with diabetes, it quietly damages the small blood vessels in your kidneys, making it harder for them to filter waste. Over time, that constant pressure can lead to protein leaking into your urine, and you may not notice until the damage is already advanced. Think of sugar like tiny crystals flowing through your bloodstream. In small amounts, your body can handle it. But when levels stay high day after day, those crystals scratch and scar the delicate filters in your kidneys. The good news is, controlling blood sugar is possible. Eating balanced meals with fewer processed carbs, staying active, and checking your blood sugar regularly all make a difference. And if your doctor prescribes medication, sticking to the plan is essential. Stable blood sugar doesn't just protect your kidneys, it protects your energy, your heart, and your overall health. So that's tip number 2. Keep your blood sugar steady to keep your kidneys strong. And because no tip is more important than regular medical guidance, let's move on to tip number 1. Consulting your doctor to stay ahead of kidney disease. Back in the introduction, I told you that the most surprising and important habit would come at the very end. And here it is. Consult your doctor regularly. This might sound simple, even obvious, but it's the step most people overlook, and it can make the difference between catching kidney damage. Here's why. You can lose up to 90% of. During a visit, your doctor can run simple urine and blood tests to detect proteinuria or other kidney. Think of your doctor as your kidney's best ally. Skipping checkups is like driving a car without ever checking the engine. Everything might look fine on the outside, but trouble could be building under the hood. Now, I'd like to ask you, when was the last time you scheduled a kidney checkup? Was it this year, or has it been longer than you'd like to admit? Share your answer in the comments. So that's tip number 1. Don't. We've just walked through 10 simple but powerful habits that can protect your kidneys and reduce protein in your urine. From monitoring your urine, staying hydrated, and eating balanced meals, to reducing salt, avoiding processed foods, limiting protein, exercising, controlling blood pressure and blood sugar, and finally consulting your doctor regularly, every step adds up. Kidney problems often progress silently. By the time symptoms like fatigue, swelling, or restless nights appear, the damage may already be severe. That's why starting today matters. Don't wait for the warning signs. The encouraging part is this: you don't need to change everything overnight. Even small steps, like swapping a salty snack for fruit, taking a short walk, or drinking an extra glass of water, can make a real difference over time. You have more control over your kidney health than you may realize. So here's what you can do next. Pick just one of these tips and put it into practice today. And if you haven't seen your doctor in a while, schedule a checkup. Both are simple actions that can help you stay ahead. Remember, everything we've shared here is for education only. This does not replace medical advice. Always talk to your doctor or a kidney specialist before making major changes to your diet, medication, or lifestyle. If you found this video helpful, subscribe to Kidney Health 365 and turn on notifications so you never miss new content. And for more practical ways to protect your kidneys, check out our next video where we dive deeper into foods that strengthen kidney function.